Yo, it's the Elohim, the Mellow Mystic, Lord Emmanuel, Chief of simonicanation, Spike of Star Seed, the wheat in the Virgin's hand, and if you don't know, now you know. Check this out though. I'm about to jump right into Module 4 of the Secured Party Mastery course. You know what I mean? And we're going to go through private commerce, contracts, and ethical exchange. Again, all the courses and guidebooks are available at simonicanation.org. So you can head on over there for all the information that's being brought forth in these videos. But let's go ahead and get right on into Module 4, Private Commerce, Contracts, and Ethical Exchange. So the purpose of this module is to teach how commerce actually functions at the private level and how contracts are formed, enforced, and how individuals, trusts, and private associations can exchange value without unnecessary public entanglement. And that's key, without unnecessary public entanglement. You're going to learn the difference between private commerce and public commerce. So this module is about competence, not confrontation. So we're going to go through what private commerce really means, contracts, formation, consent, and capacity, consideration, value, and performance, and ethical exchange and honor in commerce. So, lesson 4.1, what private commerce really means. So, because we want to clarify the difference between public commercial activity and private exchange and dispel myths. So, private commerce is not illegal commerce. It simply means commerce conducted between known parties by contract and without public offering or solicitation. Now, public commerce involves licenses, permits, regulatory oversight, consumer protection statutes. Private commerce relies on mutual consent, disclosure, contract law, honor, and remedy. Privacy is achieved through limited scope and clear agreement, not secrecy. So, lesson 4.2, contracts, formation, consent, and capacity. Because we want to understand how contracts are formed and how capacity and consent determine enforceability. So, elements of a valid contract. So you have an offer or a clear proposal, acceptance or unambiguous agreement, consideration, something of value exchanged, capacity, parties are competent to contract, and lawful purpose, no illegal object. Now, capacity is important because you have to establish your capacity. You always have to state what capacity you're operating in, or if you're competent to contract. And a lot of people have not declared themselves competent. They have not stated their capacity. They're not acting in their proper capacity or in their private capacity. They operate in the public capacity as the debtor. That's the role. They operate as the debtor. You know, when you operate in the private, you operate as the creditor. So capacity matters. Individuals, trustees, authorized agents, officers of private associations. Always state in what capacity you are acting. So now let's get into consideration, value, and performance. Because we want to know what courts and arbitrators recognize as real value, not just money. So forms of consideration: money, services, goods, time, intellectual property, and mutual promises. Now, performance and breach. Performance fulfills obligation. Non-performance creates remedy. Remedy does not equal punishment. Remedy restores balance. So if you perform on an obligation and the other party, let's say the court or the collection agency doesn't respond, or they don't fulfill their obligation, that's when remedy comes in. So private commerce is about completion, not conflict. Now let's go into ethical exchange and honor in commerce. If you want to anchor private commerce in ethics, not loopholes. So, core principles, full disclosure. And you're going to find that the U.S. does not operate with these core principles. Full disclosure being one of them. No fraud, no coercion, right to cure, and right to withdraw. You know what I'm saying? That's staying in honor. So honor as enforcement. Written notice before escalation. So the court or the debt collector don't respond. Now you take it to written notice before escalation. Right? Then still no response. You give an opportunity to cure and correct the error. You know? And then you got neutral resolution methods, mediation and arbitration. But the strongest position in commerce is clean hands. So real quick, just to go into these terms again. Private commerce means exchange between parties by contract. Public commerce, regulated commercial activity. Capacity, legal authority to contract. Consideration, value exchanged. Performance, fulfillment of contractual duty. And remedy is correction of imbalance. So I could give templates and, just put your name right here, but I'd rather you learn. I'd rather you actually know what's going on. I'd rather you actually, instead of just being like, here, just give me this, and then hopefully this works, send it out there. I'd rather you know exactly what's going on and know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I don't have templates to offer and give, but, the knowledge goes a lot further. So we'll go into module 5 in the next video, which goes into risk, liability, indemnity, and protection, where we focus on protecting the living being, trustees, and private entities from avoidable harm. It's not just protecting your assets, it's also protecting yourself from liability. So, just the Elohim, the Mellow Mystic, Lord Emmanuel, Chief of Simonica Nation, Spike of Star Seed, the Wheat in the Virgin's Hand. Visit simonicanation.org for all the information, all the courses, and all the guidebooks, and more.